Read off pay every day. Uplift the V cause we all base. We enforce the law and we obey. Forefathers from before is still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Universal laws in more ways. Read 4 chapters, receive it 4 ways. Great divine love rules our verse. Before I circle blocks, man, I circle 7s first. You bust the image, but your rhymes hurt. You clear 13 disrespected earth. Love, but it's all in God's plan. Today's mathematics don't judge a man. Unity of life, embodiment of truth. I'm responsible for every deed, cause I seen the proof. Noble Drew X. Do I have to draw it out for you? Cause nationality is not a color I can use. Jerry Spruce, standing on my square, even without shoes. On the highest authority, spirit of blue. Marcus Garfield, whirlwind times 2. The world's in the wind when the trumpet blew.
Stand up, go into your bathroom. If you got a big floor to ceiling, cut the light on and stand and take a good hard look at yourself. You are the Moorish government, you know, and it took me a long time to get to understand that concept. I self-law am master. If I can govern myself, if I can govern my household, that's what I should be doing. Why should I walk out of my door and then leave everything that I know about myself in the house to go out and adopt something that I have no knowledge thereof? Offense. So we need to stop asking that question. I ask myself this question: if not me, then who?
Death and wisdom, my friends, intelligent creatures, guardians of sacred knowledge, Olmecan features, secrets of the afterlife, manifest the present day. Dirty mortals and scoundrels lose their heads in a pleasant way. Deceit and deception, negative past thoughts, keeps awareness on point, spirit messages never off.
Here we go. Raka! North Star! That way. The North Star's that way. Canaanland moves. Read off pay every day. Uplift the V cause we all base. We enforce the law and we obey. Forefathers from before is still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Universal laws in more ways. Read 4 chapters, receive it 4 ways. Great divine love rules our verse. Before I circle blocks, man, I circle 7s first. You bust the image, but your rhymes hurt. Declare 13 disrespected earth. Love, but it's all in God's plan. Today's mathematics don't judge a man. Unity of life, embodiment of truth. I'm responsible for every deed, cause I seen the proof. Noble Drew X. Do I have to draw it out for you? Cause nationality is not a color I can use. Jerry Spruce, standing on my square, even without shoes. On the highest authority, spirit of blue. Marcus Garfield, whirlwind times 2. The world's in the wind when the trumpet blew.
Stand up, go into your bathroom. If you got a big floor to ceiling, cut the light on and stand and take a good hard look at yourself. You are the Moorish government, you know, and it took me a long time to get to understand that concept. I self-law am master. If I can govern myself, if I can govern my household, that's what I should be doing. Why should I walk out of my door and then leave everything that I know about myself in the house to go out and adopt something that I have no knowledge thereof? Offense. So we need to stop asking that question. I ask myself this question: if not me, then who?
Death and wisdom, my friends, intelligent creatures, guardians of sacred knowledge, Olmec features, secrets of the afterlife, manifest the present day. Dirty mortals and scoundrels lose their heads in a pleasant way. Deceit and deception, negative past thoughts, keeps awareness on point. Spirit messages never off. Inner realizations, encounter the higher selves. Next plane existence explains my consistence. Without a foe, you never know, so past most resistant. Divinity, my twin flame, side chick and mistress. Metaphysic, Kabbalistic, Almaroc mystic. Patriarch, papistics, make my thoughts sadistic. So indigenous, call me Americanistic. Invoking the ancestors, Saracen cryptic. Suns on rotation, flows ecliptic. Shatter all illusions, reveal the realistic. Sitting in the dark, holding the light marvelous. Recognize the artifice, skin so carbonous, hair so antenna. I feel them from Vienna, myriad of virtues, lessons in reptilian henna. Enlightenment seekers won't find it in mainstream. Focus as a laser, stay balanced like a beam. Not even a gymnast. Whenever I flip this, as above, so below, get out when within this. Don't think I'm a slave cause I speak in English. Drew Ali the water, watch your flames get extinguished. Living in your higher, lower self is relinquished. Reputation of master teachers, call it distinguished.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. And Noble do I lay in plain sight.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. And Noble do I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Moorish Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brain waves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, Negus appearing real. All I see is false evidence. DA are feminists, torn by elephants. More like we're prejudiced but want Moorish benefits.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Salt Bay, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Moorish Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts slap a dirty Moor or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, Negus appearing real. All I see is false evidence. VA are feminists, stomped on by elephants. Won't let go prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burden on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
(9:01 a.m.) 9:01 a.m. Eastern time, which means it's 6 a.m. California time. How come Rami is sending me messages and not backshotting his wife? How come? How come 6 a.m. Rami sending me emails. 6 a.m. California time. Sending me emails. Sending me BS. Sending me BS. How come it's 6 a.m. and he's not taking his son to go fishing or something? How come it's 6 a.m. and he's not taking his son to the court or something like that, go put up some shots? How come it's 6 a.m. and he's not backshotting his wife? Why is he sending Cujo messages at 6 a.m.? What's the purpose? To get talked about? No problem. We'll talk about you. It's no problem. Because we're letting all these people out here know, been letting them know, that there's dirty Moors around you. You keep playing around, all these Moors are for you or something, and don't figure your stuff out. Keep playing, chase Moors and follow Moors and listen to Moors. See what happened to you. See what happened to you. Right? Yoshi is a mental patient lady who every Moor who I know that's credible, that talk to her, says she's a mental patient. Why does she even have Instagram for? Why are people even following her? All you people who are following her, F you too. Following a mental patient. Stop this BS. As if we're friends or something. Yeah, drill that truth in. Let them drill that truth in. We're up by 500. We don't care. We're going to run the score up to 1,000. 1,000 nothing. Just because. Just because you want to sit around here and watch this opposed to go study? No problem. All your stars, we're going to beat up all your people who you love. All people you love, all your people who's talking BS about RV Bay publications, talking BS about Mantis Views 29, talking BS about subconscious celebrity, talking BS about Kush Day. We're supposed to be helping each other. What are the Moors doing? How about FOH? How about that? How about FOH? Big neon lights, big FOH right on your lawn. And not just her, anybody talking crazy about Kush Day, talking crazy about subconscious celebrity, talking crazy about Mantis Views 29, talking crazy about Canaanland Moors, Cujo L, RV Bay, talking crazy about anyone talking crazy. We're going to talk about them, and you're not going to like how we talk about them. Right? You're not going to like it. And then you're going to be coming out of, I don't want to talk to you anymore because you're rude. What FOH to you too. You should have been left. What are you still doing around here? The hell out of my face. I paid my dues. The hell out of here. Brother Garfield, FOH for his book. Any book that he's coming out with, anything that he's coming out with, FOH to him and anybody who's supporting him. Dagger Squad and the whole crew of them. The whole crew of all them. F them too. Because Master Teacher already told you on their platform that they call people black on, anybody who calls you black is a sellout and a traitor. And look at you. Look at you idiots. Chasing around these people calling you black still. Chasing around. Dagger Squad, nothing. Brother Garfield, nothing. All you idiots on Galaxy Afui Radio near the UK that's riding with this Garfield BS, pushing his book and all that stuff. Well, how about this? How come you're not pushing his levels of service plan for 2,500, option 8? How come you're not pushing that? How come Brother Garfield's out here trying to sell a book, but in the background they're telling people 2,500 for some option 8 level, whatever BS that Dagger Squad could give you? These people don't have anything on Drew Ali. They wish they had something on Drew Ali. They don't have a jack on Drew Ali. None of them. Especially if they're not mentioning him. I don't care if it's 2021. I don't care if that was 100 years ago. I don't care. You mentioned some 20,000 year ago stuff today. FOH. These people are only around because dumbasses who support them. That's the only reason why they're around. Just keep drilling that truth in. Keep drilling that damn truth in. Drill it in. The Alhambras of Latin America. You're not Moors? So you're gonna be, yeah, drill it in. Get louder. Drill it the hell in. January, February 2021. 2021. Just drill that truth in. Just drill it in. Drill it in. Neo-Arabic aesthetics and architecture have been studied in both Europe and the US, but less so in Latin America. The field study carried out here revealed a vast Orientalist heritage throughout the geography of the region, encompassing a wide range of architectural types. For the exhibition Alhambras, we evaluated the diversity of designs in institutional, leisure, and residential architectures, while emphasizing constructions whose origins can be found among the immigrants from the Spain Peninsula who copied or drew directly from the Alhambra. Alhambrismo in Latin America. The buildings shown in this article have been selected from among more than 170 constructions in 18 countries documented to date. Alhambras in America: Mexico, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Panama, Colombia, Bolivia, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and Peru. On many occasions, this Latin American heritage is also related to immigrants who sought to incorporate memories of their homeland when they commissioned architects who had traveled to Europe for the construction of their homes. All factors contributed to a Latin American Orientalist architecture, without rigid requirements, but rather adaptive to conditions, personal needs, lifestyles, and the local climate. This meant that on occasion, what featured in an interior in Granada may have appeared on a facade, or what was without color in the walls of the Alhambra may appear in a rich, chromatic, typical of the Caribbean. Of course, not all has been conserved over the years. There are significant absent architectures. It is to this end that this cataloging of the buildings offers an understanding of the global romantic significance of the Alhambra, how its legacy is maintained on the other side of the Atlantic, and how the aesthetic of what is known as Alhambrismo was adapted and flourished in a wide range of geographical areas, and today forms part of the landscape of Latin American identity. Donated by the Spanish community of Tandil, Argentina. on the occasion of the town's centennial in 1923. The Castillo Morisco Moorish castle shows horseshoe arches that also reference the great mosque at Cordoba. You notice they didn't say in Cordoba? You realize? They didn't say in Cordoba. They said at there. You realize they said at Cordoba, not in Cordoba. You know, they ask me, hey, where do you live? I live in the whatever. How come they didn't say in Cordoba? How come they said great mosque at? Just a thought. Spanish overseas influences and Islamic reminiscences. In the 19th century, the celebration of World Trade Affairs offered a testing ground for architecture. Countries participated by means of pavilions, and the design of these buildings called on local flavors and also borrowed from distant past far removed from their national identities. Now, speaking about national identity, all these people who are waiting for their cards and all that stuff, waiting for their paperwork, waiting, and how come it's taking so long? Because I've been waiting. That's what you get. So we've been telling you nationalize for 100 years. And your ass was dragging your feet for 100 years. And now that you're stuck in line behind 500 other people who just came to their senses yesterday, now you're complaining. Don't complain. To Moors. We've been had our birthright. We've been telling you, declare your nationality. You're not Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian, and all that stuff. You know, you didn't want to hear what Moors are saying? Now everybody's rushing to get vaccine exemption from Moors. Now everybody wants vaccine exemption. Now everybody wants to be indigenous. Because the Moors been told you people who you are. And you're playing games. So all you waiting for your ID and your paperwork people, right? What you need to understand is national psychology. That's what you need to get. You need to get what national psychology is. National psychology plays a role in politics via the ideology of nationalism. Politicians will appeal to quote-unquote French people, quote-unquote American people, quote-unquote Russian people, the idea being that members of a nation have a common national identity, are part of a national community, and share common interests, national interests. Politicians must try to unify and integrate people to work together for common goals and appealing to their common national characteristics. It was often part of that. Closely related to the idea of the national character, which refers to the values, norms, and customs which people of a nation typically hold, their typical emotional responses and what they regard as virtue and vice, all factors which determine how they will habitually respond to situations. Like not getting your ID. And you're waiting for some card to be who you are instead of invoking your national psychology. But that's too deep because people don't study. Nationalism aims to unite people as members of a nation. And for that purpose, the belief that they really have common national characteristics is obviously useful, even if those characteristics cannot be proved beyond a shared language and a similar physical appearance. Friendly rivalry between national sports teams is often used to symbolize national identity. So how come when USA won Olympics, that wasn't for Americans? Shouldn't it be American on the shirt? If the Croatians are gonna have Croatia, and the Brazilians are gonna have Brazil, then if you have United States on your stuff, then you're not American, are you? Because friendly rivalry between national sports teams is often used to symbolize national identity. Interesting. National psychology has sometimes been used to explain why economic development occurred in a different way in different countries, or why a particular turn of political events happened as it did. Taliban kicking them out, taking their stuff back, because same thing that Cuba did, same thing that Germany did. Nationalize and take all your stuff back. But nah, that's too deep. Moors are reaching on that one. That's too deep. Reference is sometimes made to the national psyche or the soul of a nation to explain why some public events can trigger a commotion or uproar in a country, or why a particular nation gets particularly enthusiastic or obsessed with a sport or cultural practice. The idea is that a nation shares a specific cultural mentality, morality, or mindset, embedded in its language and institutions, which causes it to react much more strongly or much less strongly to particular situations than people of other nations would, and that people from different nations have different problem-solving strategies. So those waiting on cards people need to stop complaining. Nobody told you to wake up at 1 o'clock to go do what you're supposed to do outside. Now that line's going around the building, now you're complaining. Don't complain. You should have been out there at 6 a.m. like the other smart guy. But you want to go to the whatever last night and you can't even wake up till 1 o'clock. Don't complain that you laid in your bed and the sleep was good and all that stuff. Well, it's 1 o'clock in the day now. So what do you mean you're complaining about something? You have no right to complain. Where's your stuff? Where's your nothing? You better go study. Sitting there waiting for something to come there that you're going to take and go do nigger stuff with it. You might as well just go do the nigger stuff that you've been doing. You're not really nationalizing for something. You're playing like you're a Moor. You're not really down with this for real. You know, Moors been in this 6-7 years and turned around and went back to being niggers. What are you talking about? Think because you came yesterday? You got Ellerbe yesterday, you think there's somebody taking you serious? Just like Black Dot said, if you weren't on VHS tape, who are you? Who are you? Where you come from? We don't know you. You're not from around here. Because I never saw you on a VHS tape. Somebody sent me some link or whatever for you? Who are you? Where you been? You weren't even on a DVD. Show me a DVD that you're on. One. You send me some live stuff that they did that makes them. They ain't nobody. They're nobody. A predilection for Orientalism led to significant examples of Egyptian and Turkish architecture in the International Exhibition in Paris in 1867, and the Ottoman section in the Vienna Exhibition of 1873. The Paris Exhibition of 1878 included an Oriental bazaar, and the 1889 exhibition, also in the French capital, featured a market along with Arab-style houses, replicas of streets of Cairo, and an Islamic neighborhood. It was in the 1900 Universal Exhibition in Paris, however, that the presence of Moorish architecture had the greatest repercussions. Along with pavilions of obvious Egyptian, Ottoman, and Persian inspiration, and the construction of the Palais d'Electricité with its oriental interior, highlights included Andalusian in the time of the Moors, a space that featured elements of the Alhambra, the Sacromonte district of Granada, and the palaces and the Giralda of Seville. Now, why Moors have this? Moors just have something like this? And then people are seeing this, going back to where they're from, and having a bazaar where they're making replicas of this stuff to show it off? And you're telling me about some back to Africa slave BS? You're telling me about some Black Lives Matter march in the street, whatever? You tell me push some packages? Remember, this is today. This is 2021 article from January. This is not some article 50 years ago. This is an article from 2021. Built in 1884 to represent Mexico at the World Cotton and Industry Centennial Exhibition held in New Orleans, the kiosk of Santa Maria la Ribera was called at that time the Mexican Alhambra. Now standing in a park in Mexico City, it inspired the construction of more than a dozen smaller Neo-Arabic kioscos throughout Mexico. This is right now. This is not some ancient time thing back there. This is right now. At the time, Spain, and particularly Andalusia, had often been perceived by romantic travelers as exotic oriental territories full of bandits and the like. Andalusia, however, also had the unique fortune of offering a rich selection of Islamic architecture. In this context, it was Neo-Arabic architecture that would repeatedly represent the image of Spain in international events, as occurred with the Spanish Pavilion in the Brussels exhibition of 1910, and overseas in the clubs and headquarters of Spanish collectives in the Americas. In the sense, we could mention buildings such as the Spanish Club of Iquique, Chile, designed and built in 1904 by Miguel Retomano in the Moorish style and featuring ornate chromatic decor in its interior. The Oswaldo Cruz Institute, outside Rio de Janeiro, built between 1905 and 1918, hosts one of Brazil's leading public health research foundations. The hell are they doing with that over here? Remember, this is modern. 1900s they built this. This is not some ancient stuff. But why are they using more stuff over here? Why don't they make it like how Indians made stuff? Why don't they make it how somebody from over here makes stuff? Why are they going all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to take stuff from the Moors and bring it over here? How come they didn't take anything from West Africa or East Africa? How come they didn't take anything from South Africa or Central Africa? How come everything they went and copied and brought over here is from North Africa? Why not anybody else's stuff? Keep letting them play with you. Only playing yourself. Decorated and furnished in Alhambrismo. Decorated and furnished in Alhambrismo style. The 1922 Smoker's Room in the Palacio de las Garzas, Heron's Palace in Panama City, is part of the residence of the Republic of Panama president. Come on now. Why does a Panama president have Alhambra style smoking room? How come he doesn't have a Panama smoking room? No, it's the residence of the Republic of Panama. You realize? You realize it's a republic? Right. Remember, this is stuff right around right now still. This is not some stuff that's gone somewhere. In 1923, during the centennial celebrations in Tandil, in the province of Buenos Aires, Argentina, Spanish community donated a Moorish castle to the town, erecting it at the highest point of Independence Park, a kilometer from the fort that represented the earliest establishment of the town. Why are they using the Moorish? Why the Moorish? Why not Indian stuff? This is South America. Why are they using Moorish things there? Why not just use Indian stuff? That's the indigenous people, right? The Indian, the tribes and stuff like that, the Cherokee or whatever. How come they have Cherokee style buildings? Were these people not building anything while they were here for all these thousands of years? Where they were just running around in the bushes? Obviously they're not the first people. If they're still running around in the bushes while other people are building stuff and all that, then these people, they might not even be part of the human family. Or is it just that many people on the planet that there's actually room for everybody to have a mansion, 50-car garage? Everybody should have that. We got enough room for it. What's the problem? Because he stopped living under the rule of the Moors. Everything fell to shit. Because people wanted to pretend that they're the Moors instead of just giving the Moors back their stuff. Everybody want to pretend. Prestige of institutional Orientalism. Despite never having prevailed in the field, institutional architecture has also employed Oriental forms and decorative models for cultural or service-related purposes, or as a means of featuring designs related to the exercise of power. While the repertoire of the institutional buildings cannot bear comparison with the number of preserved examples of country estates and mansions, the unique nature of many of them shows that the predilection of mainly Alhambresque stylings was not exclusively associated with privately funded projects. In the case of the former, we can highlight the Salon Morisco, or Moorish room, of Mexico's National Palace. Salon Morisco, or Moorish room, of Mexico's National Palace. Or the Palacio Catet in Rio de Janeiro, which passed from a private residence to become the seat of the government of the Republic from 1897 to 1960. Somewhat more recent in its construction is what is known as the Moorish Garden in Costa Rica's Legislative Assembly building. The Costa Rica Legislative Assembly building has a Moorish garden? We have a Costa Rican garden. What's this? What is this Moorish thing? Like Martin and Black Knight. This is a Moorish thing. Isn't it obvious what this Moorish thing is? It's all over the world. It's all over the world and it can't be refuted. No one has any say. Zero say. Zero. Latin America's Islamic architectural heritage. Let's look that up. Why is all this here? Why is all this here? This is Moorish everything. Moorish everything for nothing?
Yeah.
That's the dive I need to go on next. The Yucatan.
The Yucatan.
I've heard that.
And in the Mexican
we
pyramid,
talked about that.
And in the book, The Mexican Pyramid, man, I was just reading because I wanted to find out more about the pyramids and the Egyptian presence. And just lo and behold, just studying that, then I found this only part in that book was called the Moorish science of them killing the Aztec for practicing Moorish science. How did it get there? Because Moors had already been coming there prior to the Wolof being shipwrecked and amalgamated with the
That's how you get the presence.
Yeah. But prior to that, we were going there, and then you get the shipwreck. That's a whole nother wave. So when I say that, when the Moors are saying that, hey, we've been here, we Native Americans, you got to understand that they're not positioning their argument right, because they're saying
we've been here, we're Native Americans, meaning
If
literally Native Americans, or we're the natives to America.
The thing is the presence of Native Americans here is African, and it's been thousands of years. You get David Imhotep in the original Americans were African book. He's talking about 30,000, 50,000 years. They came here long ago from the east. But besides that, when the Moors talk about our presence here and we being Native Americans, you see the amalgamation in Florida from the slave trade, or wrecked ships, or us coming here, or these people looking like us. And that's another way we tie in, because we had kids with them. They have a thing that the European Spanish used to come over, and they used to just fawn over the admixture of different people. And they had paintings called caste families of Native American and Africans blend, and they used to love this light skin or this melungeon.
But the mulatto, during that time they would call them mulatto.
And they would make paintings out of this, and they would gander at the winsomeness of this blend that happens over hundreds and hundreds of years. So when the Moors say that we're native here, the other part of that, we're native here by sanguinity or bloodline, because we amalgamated during the wars against the Spanish. This is why you get brothers running from different European English colonies to Spanish colonies, because in the Spanish colonies, you have Roman law where you can get out of slavery. You can buy yourself out of slavery.
Well, that intermingling and that mixing in those mulattoes, Chancellor Williams talks about it in this book, The Destruction of Black Civilization.
Oh, yeah.
And Ivan Van Sertima talks about it a little bit too, but these are just some, a few books I made reference to last time, but building up that library, man, 'cause we sit here and we had these discussions and, try to put all these puzzle pieces together to get there, and kind of like feeding them.
Yeah.
Not to swell the belly up.
Yeah.
But enough to digest it.
But
and come back.
The main point is to try to draw the Moorish link to the African American link, and to get you to understand how white supremacy came about because of different statutes like La Pianza de Sangre.
Well, don't go too far. Don't jump the gun.
Yeah.
Too far here, Fred, because I don't want to give too much of that away.
Yeah.
I just want to, before we wrap up this session, we started off where we ended in session 4. Because this is session 5, and it's probably going to be session 5 and 6 by the time it comes out.
Yeah.
But that 1492 all the way to 1609, that time, and everything that happens after.
Yeah.
And then later down the line, as we continue to go up, we get closer and closer to our footprint here in America.
And these are the breadcrumbs that we're going over. 1754, you got Eliza Willock. He's Lebanon, Connecticut. He's a teacher, educator. He's a so-called white guy. He wants to teach Native Americans, so you open up a school. He named the school the Moorish Charity School. It's called Dartmouth College today. But he's teaching Native Americans, but he calls it the Moorish Charity School. You can Google it. It'll come up in your Wikipedia, and it tells you that today
it's considered Ivy League school now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he called it the Moorish School because at that point, when you look at books like the Delaware Forgotten Folks, they couldn't tell the difference between a Moor or so-called African or Negro and a Native American. They even had a song called, and this the long title is, I don't care what you call him, Native American, he still looks like a nigga to me.
Why? Because all of them are the same people. Imagine you go to the cookout and you're pretending that everybody's a stranger. The family cookout. Hey, how you doing? Hey, so what are you doing in your life or whatever like that? What are you talking about? That's your family. That's your drunk uncle from last week. What do you mean you're introducing yourself? They're all the same people. There's no was over there and then some came over here, and there was none of that. Melanin dominant people have been on the planet the longest. So you're indigenous to everywhere. That's just what it is. If you don't talk up like that though, then you get what you get. Because you should be talking up for that. You should be speaking up that you're the indigenous. What else are you? If you're not Negro, black, colored, then what else are you? And then we just showed you all the architecture that they're copying as Moorish architecture. How come they're not copying any Indian tribe architecture and building something that looks like something they built? Why? What do they know about the Moorish presence here? Why is it that there's places that you go in Florida that looks like Andalusia? There's places that you go in Florida that it is said by those who've been across the Atlantic that here, right now, I swear I'm across the Atlantic over there. Pensacola. Why is this Moorish theme everywhere? Moorish theme everywhere. Everybody copying the Moors architecture? So everybody's copying the Moors architecture, but you want to be Negroes and blacks, and you want to be all this other stuff. But everybody else is copying Moors everything else. 19 Keys in them have Moorian headband they're selling you for 500. But you're not taking the Moors serious when we say what we're saying? But you're taking them serious. You're not going to take us serious, but you're going to take Hidden Colors serious? You're going to take that serious, but you're not going to take more serious. Then Hidden Colors people have more apps and stuff like that, and you're then the more to say they're starting an app, you're dissing. You're not supporting. And then you're complaining after. You can't diss and complain after. You can't. You're not being fair. You're not being fair. You can't talk crazy about Moors. You can't talk crazy about RV Bay Publications when you go there to get your info. And you have the Great Seal nationality card in your pocket and the paperwork. How are you talking? You can't talk bad about RV Bay. How? Oh. That's sort of pervish. That's sort of COINTELPRO-ish. Because you know what the foundation is. Why are you mad? Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all. Study, study, study. And we waiting for them cards. Honors to all the mothers. Be yourself. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace and love, Moors. Islam.